All right. So models and virtual environment. So real quick, we'll dive into our VS Code and then we kick it, and then we kick start from there, so we don't have to switch between screens. So as usual, I have all my codes here. So I'll just open this up in VS Code. Right, I'll open up this folder in VS Code. All right. So while that is coming up, I think in our previous class we left off some parts of our class, and then we said that in this class we'll go back and then we'll wrap it up completely, right? Because that other section of that class required that we make use of models, right? And since we haven't covered models, we could not actually dive into it. We could not actually dive into it properly. But by the end of this class, we should understand properly what needs to be done. Okay, so hold on, I think. All right, so let's see. All right, so I think this, okay, so this is where we left off in our previous class. So this is where we left off in our previous class. I've commented on so many things, but then when we'll come back here and then we uncomment them when there is need to. Right, so in our previous class, we talked about working with text documents, how we can write to it and how we can write to it and how we can read from it. Right, and then we see had some issues where structured data couldn't be saved or couldn't be saved. Yes, we could not programmatically send in structured data into this text document, because every content of a text document, right, is seen as a string. So in a case where we intend to save things like, let's say, a list of names or a dictionary of people details, okay, we can't save that in our text document, right? The problem is that everything there would be seen as a string. So if we actually get one single item from a list, then basically you'll be getting one single character from that text document, because remember, everything is a string, and to get one character, so we can't really get a full item from a string. So what we can do is we can actually get a single character, or we can slice, which is not really convenient for structured data. So there was need for us to bring in another form of storage, or another form of saving information, which is JSON. But we pause there because to use JSON, we need to talk about models in Python programming. So real quick, I'll create another file, and this file I will call it models. So for arrangement's sake, I'll start with it and then save this as models. Models. The file. All right. So basically, what are models? You may be wondering what exactly is models. So please forgive every typo errors. All right. So basically, um, models are basically Python files. They are basically Python files that contain your variables, your functions, and classes. Right? So they are in fact they are basically your Python script. Right. They're basically your Python script. That's basically what a model is, right? They are your Python files. So first of all, they must be what a Python files, and they can choose to, right, to actually include your variables, your function, your classes, right? Basically, all your entire instructions in programming. Okay, so that's basically what a model is. So so far, it means that everything that we've written so far can be seen as a model. Now, what makes one thing a model is that they can be included. They can be included in another Python script, right? So that means that if I intend to include, let's say the conditional script in our model script, right? And that makes conditional script a model to what to our model script here. I making sense. That's basically the concept of models, right? They are Python files that contains your function, variables, and classes, and of course, they can be used within what another Python script. Does that make sense? Are we following? Right. So the silence means that we are following the whole concept. Okay. So now let's see how we can include this script inside another script. All right. So I will create another file. All right. I'll create another file here since I don't want to tamper with the rest our previous file that we've written so far. All right. So I'll create another file, and in this file I will call it mod.py. All right, so I will basically call this it's okay, let's call it mod.py, right? So mod.py here, right, would assume, or we would assume it to be what, that it want to save as a module for the script models.py, right? So it means that first of all, that this file needs to be what, needs to be a Python script, and then within this file I can have my variables, functions, and classes if need be. So basically, assuming what I'm writing a function, or should I say I'm writing a set of instructions that requires that I have multiple functions, right? So for instance, I can have a function that greets, right? A function that does greetings, and then this function takes name, and then at the end of it, or this function will do what, would basically just return a string of hello, and then your name, right? So I'll put name there, and then come down here, and then I'll put it in my string, right? And maybe I can have another function, maybe a function that that gets your age, okay, as well, and then maybe tell you how many years you would be in, let's say, in 10 years to come, right? So let's say I will get your age. In this case, I'll get your maybe age, and then I would simply just say your age, and then I simply just attend to that age, and then I would basically just call this result, and at the end of it all, I'll just simply return result. For instance, right? That could be I have two functions, and maybe I can as well have some variables. Let's say a variable that contains height. This height can be like 20, and I can have breadth, and this breadth could be like let's say 40, right? Assuming. And then where all this can live in this file, in this in my models.py file. There's absolutely no problem, right? But in a situation where these functions are longer, or I said they are much, and they're taking up so many spaces in the actual script itself, that's in my model.py. Now, or when I want to use them, because let's assume that this let's say these functions are like, let's say, 200 lines of code. So it means that before I even start writing my actual script for this model.py, I have to scroll, I have to scroll 200 lines below, and most times that is too much, right? That is too much. Being that this is where our actual, or our the actual script is going to what stay. So as such, what I can do is I can bring in what the concept of models. So by the way, by simply copying these instructions, right, and then putting it in another file, in another Python file specifically, and then doing what, using this file within the actual script that I intend to do, what, to write these instructions. So now what do I do? I can go back to what my actual script, which in this case the models.py, and then what I can bring in everything that is within this script into what, this file. And how do we do this? So we do this by using a keyword called import, right? So there are basically two kinds of importation, right? So we have two kinds of importation, right? Or basically what I would like to say that, well, is two kinds of importation, right? So The first is what we have an entire model importation. Sorry, put it down. We have an entire models models importation, right? So this kind of importation is where we bring in everything in this file, whether we intend to use everything or not. We basically bring out everything from this file and then just paste it in this other file, right? Without necessarily doing copying this code and putting it there. So that is what I consider as an entire model importation. So we bring out everything from that file and then we dump it in this particular file. And then we have specific importation, specific importation, right? Specific importation. So this particular one here is that I bring out a single function or a single class or a single variable from where this model, right, and then use it here. So here in this kind of importation, I don't bring everything, right? So this makes this particular one more lighter compared to this other one. So if this was a model of, let's say, of 2 million lines, if I do an entire importation, so it means that single line of instruction, right, that I put there is bringing 200 million lines of code there, right? So which is heavy, right? Which is heavy. But then if I need, let's say, one specific function from the rest of those models, then what I can go with a specific kind of importation, with a specific kind of where I simply pick a single function instead of the entire models. So how do we do this? So how do we do these importations? So I'll comment on this. So to carry out an entire importation, so I'll put entire importation. To carry out an entire importation, right? All right. So what we do, we simply use the keyword import, 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 and then the model name, right, and followed by the model name, right? So this will do what? This will bring what? The entire importation. Then for specific specific importation, we simply use the keyword from, right? This one is saying bring a specific function from a specific model. So here after your from, you expect the model name. So from this model, so the model name comes here, and then we import the specific. We import specific specific function, or it function, it could be variable, it could be it could be class. So whatever we intend to do what to bring that out, right? So this is what we go ahead and we do a specific kind of importation, which of course we will definitely see how we do this in actual coding. Yes, it could be so many lines of code. Have you seen most games code base? You should see this guy's code base. It's about 200 million lines of code. Right, Mr. Trump, your hand is up. You have a question?
Yes, sir.
Right,
I was asking about the way we import. Does it follow exactly? Must it follow exactly like this from module name, import specific whatever, or can it be David? Can we like say import specific variable, for example, from module name? Like must it first be the module name before what we're importing, or can we bring what we're importing first, then right from the module name? That's just my question.
Yes.
Just wondering.
Okay. Well, it actually follow this exact pattern, right? So we can't twist it out, right? So if you're bringing an entire model, then you simply use the keyword import followed by that model name. If you're bringing one specific thing from that model, then it must start with from, and then the model name, and then you import the specific function or variable that you intend to import. And so it must follow these instruction, right? So it must follow this particular instruction, right? So now let's do what? Let's use what we've done so far, and let's see how we can import these things and bring them into this particular script. Okay, so let's do what first of all, let's carry out an entire importation, right? An entire importation, right? So, but then before we proceed, just so you know, we have different types of models, right? So we have about three types of models. We have about three types of models, right? We have custom models. So custom models is the one that we just done. So custom models. So these are the one that we are the one that wrote it ourselves, like what we just did here, right? So this is custom. So we did it by ourselves, and we have built-in. We have built-in models, right? And these are the ones that comes alongside your Python installation, right? So there are some packages, there are some Python files that came alongside your Python installation. So if you actually look at where your Python is being installed, you will see some other Python files. So those files are actually models that came alongside your Python installation. So we can actually import those files as well. So you mean that those particular files, we not write it by ourselves. Someone wrote it, right? The Python team wrote those particular files, right? And then we have third party. We have third party models. So these ones are models that it wasn't us that wrote it, and it not also come alongside with Python installation. These are these are models that someone else, a third party, sat down and wrote some Python script and put it out there for public use, right? And we'll see how we can how we can also, of course, use what third party models. Right. So now let's continue. So what we are doing now is we are importing a custom model, the one that we wrote by ourselves, which is in this case mod.py. Right. So let's bring in that entire model. So we simply say import and then mod. So in this case, we don't need to put the .py. Right, please. When you are importing a model, you don't put the file extension, you simply just put the file name, which in this case the file name is mod. Right. So when you say import mod, Python knows that what that is yeah, that what that it simply means what bring every instruction within that mod file and do what and put it down here. So what you are seeing here is one line of instruction, but what Python is saying there is roughly about 12 lines of instruction also, right? Excluding those spaces, please, excluding these spaces. So this is what Python is seeing, right? And but this is what you are developer what you are seeing. So when you run this script, what happens is that this script will first of all execute, or first of all bring out and copy this entire instructions, right, and bring it down here, right? So that just in case what you intend to use any of the function within that script in this script, then there should not be a problem. So that's what happens behind the scene. So now that we bring in that entire models, then we mean that we can use any of the functions or variables within that models. So now how do we now use these functions or variables within these models? So because this is a custom model, and we are the one that actually wrote it, so we know what functions and what classes and variables are live within that model. We know it. So we can simply just call that function name and just simply use it. So in this case, let's assume I'll change it to H, please. So let's assume that we want to use this greeting function that lives within our mod.py. What do? We simply just come here, and since we did an entire model, right? We did not do a specific kind of implementation. We did an entire model importation. So it means that to reference or to use any function or classes or variable from that model, we have to reference the model name. So in that case, I mean that I have to come here and say do mod and then do dot followed by any of the available model in that. Sorry, followed by any available function or variable in that particular model. So in this case, if I wanted to get a greeting, being a function, then it should be mod greetings. Okay, and then of course this greeting is a function that takes a name. So I simply just pass in something like let's say CodeCamp, right? And then if I should execute this, of course this is returning, right, and not printing, so we will not see anything. So let's simply do what, assign this to a variable, let's say a, and then at the end of it all, I will simply just print a. And execute this now. Instead, that should work as expected. We have hello CodeCamp. Now the hello CodeCamp is coming from our model, right? So remember this function takes in the name and then just simply return hello that name, right? So now you can say that what that it makes our script more neat, right? We don't have to bring in all these functions here into this particular script. We just put them one corner and then just bring it down here when we need them. Just bring it down here when we need them. Yeah, question. 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 All right. Okay. So, okay, Fidelis, your hand is up.
I've been seeing this string. Go back to that model by that
Okay.
mod by. I've been seeing this string f, this string that return f, hello name. I don't know what that f really implies.
All right. So, the thing is that there are so many things because of time we could not really cover. All right, because of time we not really cover. So, we would have actually talked about string as a data type when we, as a data structure rather when we are covering data structures. Right. So strings are sometimes considered as data structure because they actually hold characters, of course, and they have means of accessing this character within themselves. But basically, what is happening there? Because if you have talked about the string as data structure, you have definitely covered that f string. So what is happening here is called string formatting. Simply down here, string formatting. String formatting. So it's basically a way of inserting variables inside a string, right? It's basically a way of including variable inside a string in Python, right? And there are multiple ways. There are several ways of doing string formatting, but this is, I think, I prefer this particular method. And this method is called F string formatting. It's called F string formatting. F string formatting. So usually, if we wanted to actually include a variable inside a string, then what we would actually do would be something like this. And without string formatting, right? Without string formatting, what we would do would be something like hello, and then somehow we keep a space here, right? And then somehow concatenate, and then bring in our name there, right? Which of course would have made sense. So basically, this is what we would have had here if there were no string formatting. It would have been something like this, right? Where we have this hello, and then we put space there, and then we do plus, and then we put this other one, right? But most times these variables can be numbers, right? Can be number, can be boolean value, can be anything, right? That's not actually a string. Which, if you try to do this, if you try an error saying that whatever you're trying to add to this man must also be a string, right? So now string formatting now comes in. I'm like, okay, fine, we can incorporate these variables um, regardless of the type, right? And regardless of what data type that variable has, right? That we can actually incorporate it to our string by doing what? By simply just wrapping this variable up in curly braces. So in this case, this is a variable called name, and then we simply wrap it up inside a string in curly braces. And then for Python to replace that variable with the actual value, we have to provide what this f here before the string, right? So which makes it f string formatting. So it means that that if name here is 10, of course 10 will simply be replaced there. If name there was a list, of course that list will simply be replaced there. Whatever name is will simply be replaced. So this saves us the stress of thinking if this other variable here would be the same of would be of the same data type we want with our string, right? But then to also be on a server side, we can as well always convert this to a string, right? But this is like more like a longer way of doing it. So this way looks more shorter and easier, right? So just simply insert your variable inside your string, and those variable you can wrap it in curly braces, right? And then put your f there for proper replacement. Does that make sense? Okay. Right. Barry, your hand is up.
Okay, so I want to ask you, like, when you wanted to execute the code, you were the one that wrote the name, like the code. Why can't you like write the code in a way that is the user that is going to write the name, like something like that? Understand?
Yeah, of course you can do that. Remember, this thing that so I keep saying that programming is based on developer's choice. So it's my own choice to put it like that. But you can also come up and probably just put something like input there, where someone can type in the name, right, and then you place it there, right? Of course it's choice dependent. Me, I've chosen to put my own like that, so I'll leave it like that, please. Okay. But you can as well edit yours and put where someone can actually type in their name. Okay. Any other question? Any other question? All right. Okay, so the silence means no other question. Okay, so let's get back and let's continue. Okay, so this is basically how you do a full importation, right? So at this point we have everything that is here at this one line of code, right? But this makes sense if your models is small, right? I not that heavy, but in situation where you have a lot of instructions in your model, a lot of millions of lines of code, right? Millions of lines of code. Now, how do you do, or what do you do? Now, in that case, it would not really be nice that you need just a greeting function from that model, and then you have to go as far as bringing 200 million lines of code just to get about 2 or 3 lines of code from it. It doesn't really make sense, right? So in that case, what we can do is that we can instead do a specific kind of importation, right? So we bring out just one single function out of all other models and then just simply use it. So how do we now do that? We simply just use the keyword from, right? We simply use the keyword from and then the model name. So I say from mod, right? Import, let's say greeting. So greeting. So you see that's that simple. So in this situation where I have greeting specifically imported, so it means that there's no point of me going through the mod model, right? This model there in order to get this function. So this function here has been explicitly brought out, right? So I don't have to pass through the module name in order to get that particular function. So what do? I can just simply go ahead and use the function as it is, right? Now, if you do specific importation, then you can simply just use them as it is without necessarily doing what and going through the model name to do what to reference that particular function. So you only go through this model name to reference that particular function, right? If you did an entire module importation, but then if you had explicitly brought out the function or variable that you need, then there'll be no point of you doing going through the model name to do what to reference that particular function. So I can simply just do this. I can simply use that function as it is, greeting, and then execute my code, and it runs just fine. Hello, KodeCamp. So everything works, right? So at this point, at this particular line, what the only instruction brought into that file is just these lines of instruction. The rest has been abandoned, right? For this particular line of instructions. So but then you may be wondering, what if you want more than 1 or 2 functions from this model? Do I need to do this for each of them? No, you don't have to do that, right? So what you can do is just simply put comma and then bring in another function or another variable that you want from that model. So let's say I also want age. So what do? I can just put comma there and then bring in age as well. So in this case, I'm bringing out only 2 functions, right? Greetings and age, right? And then I can, of course, since these things are explicit, so I can simply use my age as it is, and then passing my age. Maybe in this case, I'm passing 1000 as age, and then the thing we returned. I think it's returned with it. Okay, so we have to pass, since we return, we can simply assign it to a variable called b, and then we simply just go ahead and print b. Right, and everything should work just fine. So we have 1010. So that is that about models. So you see that concept is very short and very simple and very interesting. So it saves us from writing unnecessary code in our main file, right? So we can simply carry some things, put in another file and use them. Right? Carry something, put in another file and do what and use them. Right. Bankola, your hand is up. I have a question.
Yes, Mr. Xavier, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So I think I missed a part from the explanation you gave earlier when you said that if you have, like, let's say a million line of code, and you were
Okay.
saying something about is like modules not being advisable to. I'm not really sure. I think I missed that part. I want you to please go through it again.
All right. All right. So what I said is that assuming you have a model here, right, that have about, let's assume you have a model what about 200 million 200 million lines of code, and then within these 200 million lines of code, you need probably, let's say, a specific function that's about just 2 or 3 lines that is very easy to execute. That it wouldn't be proper for you to bring the entire models, all right, just to do what, just to filter out 2 or 3 lines of code from that 200 million lines of code. So what you can do is that you can explicitly just bring out just those 2 or 3 lines of code from that 200 million lines of code. So that's the way you have to do what, to explicitly let Python know that what, that from this model of 200 million lines of code, only bring what, the print function and the age function, leave the rest, right? So it wouldn't be advised to do this, but then you can do what, do this. You understand? Do you understand? Right, so
Yes. Thank you.
okay. All right. Okay, so Fidelis, your hand is up. Fidelis, your hand is up.
If you check that mod pi now, the function greeting and the function age, the greeting comes before the age. When you want to execute this code now, when you import these functions in your
Okay.
mod code,
Okay.
if you do not arrange them like the way you arrange them from mod import, greeting, age, if you do not arrange, will it affect the execution of the code?
No, it's not. It's not. The arrangement doesn't really matter. So what matters is that let whatever you are calling is available, right? So how you arrange them doesn't really matter. Okay, it doesn't matter yet. See by execute this should still execute just fine. Right. Eugene, your hand is up.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Good morning.
Okay, so I want to ask, what if you have like you said, 200 million lines of code, and you want to use a particular function?
Yeah.
You want to import a particular function, but you don't know the name. Is there a way to list out the names of the functions you have, or you have to go through that 200 million lines of code?
Yeah, there is a way to list out the available functions in your models, right? Because yes, of course, because if you are using a built-in model, yeah, no one expects you to know all available functions in that models. So I think there is a built-in function. I've used it once before, I can't remember. But I think it's directory, right? So it's dir, yeah. I think it is. So this man actually, I think this man lists out the available things you have in a particular Python script. So in this case, if you have 200 million lines of code in your mod and you can't really remember and what function are there, I think mod, if you do directory of mod, and this should give you the available things. Let's just try and see. So I'll put this as r equals to that, and then I'll simply just print r. So I think that should be the solution to your problem. All right, let's see. All right, so yeah, so I think yeah, it shows everything, but then it shows other thing that is not actually then they're not there, but then it's actually there for Python, right? Like this other part of that, these other parts that we have here. So that is Python specific things. But but then after that, everything you have here are the available things that you have in that model. So you have the age, you have the breadth, you have the width, you have height. So these things, it actually arrange them in alphabetical order, right? So it arranges them in alphabetical order. So this is what you would basically do, and you would get the list of available things that we have in that model.
Okay, thank you, sir.
So there are there is a built-in function that does that. So you can just jot that down just in case. All right. Any other question? Any other question? Okay. Fantastic. No other question. All right. So now let's look at built-in models, right? So now this one is the one that we wrote by ourselves, which is kind of tiny. It's small, right? But then we have built-in models, right? We have so many built-in models that came alongside with Python installation, and these models are very interesting because they offer us so many functionalities. I think we have a model called statistics. Yes, statistics. So this particular models contains literally everything pertaining to statistics, from standard deviation to mean to mode to median, all of them, everything that relate to statistics. Those functions lives within this model is built into Python, and of course they all follow this method of importation. So I think if I should change this, if I should come here and say import statistics, I should have import statistics. Right, so there it is, statistics. Right, so it's built in. So now it's that this particular model file, you don't even have to create it. It's already there. Right? It's already there in with your Python interpreter. So you don't have to actually create this file called statistics. It's there already, right? And of course, if I intend to see the available functions that lives within statistics, of course, I can bring it to my directory here and paste it, and then run this. This should show me all the available statistics. So you can see we have counter, we have decimal, we have fraction, we have linear regression, normal distributions, statistic error, and so on and so on. You can see they are much, right? They are much. There is I think this should be square root, this should be standard deviation, this is variance, so on and so forth, right? So of course you can, and each of them have a means of how you can even use them, and for built-in models, there's no law that says that you must memorize all the available functions and how to use them. Please, if you need a built-in model and then you can't actually tell, or you don't really know how to actually use the function within those models, you can Google it up, right? Please, you can. There's no law that says that you must know them, or you must know what a particular function takes, right? Or what manner of data is this function going to accept. So in that kind of situation, you are, please, by all means, right? Google it up, right? There's no law. By all means, Google it up. So this is a typical example of a built-in model. So I can list some of them. We have statistics. We have JSON, which we use. So we have OS as operating system. So this particular model too is useful. Right? At times I play around with it, especially if I'm collecting files from someone, right? So many files, and then that file is scattered. Then what I can simply write a Python script that uses this OS to sort my folder, right? Because this man here can actually delete folders from your system, right? So if you don't actually know what you're actually doing, right? So but then it's a very important model, built-in model. So I think we have date time as well. We have date time. So this one comes and works with everything pertaining to time and date. Of course, from its name. I think we also have request. Okay, so request is not really built in, which we use it sometime in the future, but it's not built in into Python. It's third-party models. All right, so these are just a few of them, but trust me, they are much. So these are just a few of them that I can actually think of right now, and they are built-in. So these built-in models, we don't have to create the files. We have random, very important one again, very useful one. So this particular, of course, from its name, it means that it basically does what randomize things, right? So you can even use this one and create games, right? Something like a random times table for kids. We can do one simply just do some random numbers and then multiply it and then keep doing it over and over and over. And of course, it's a very interesting model, right? It's built in, of course. So it means that everything that lives there does the work of randomizing things. Right? So that is just the few. Okay, we have math as well. You keep coming in, sorry. We have math models. So of course, math is almost like statistics. Except that math have something like random round down, all those mathematical stuff lives in this particular models. All right. So that is just built in. And of course, this built in still works, and we import them the same way we import our custom models. The difference is that we don't create the files, right? We don't create these files. Those files are already there, just imported and used, right? So let's probably let's bring in random and do some more element, a small kit game, right? So we have random. Of course, random comes with so many things. So if I want to see it, I can just simply put it in dir, and I've used random a couple of times, so I can remember some few functions. So of course, so if you don't remember if you can't remember them of this, you can always Google it up. Or you can always Google it up. So we have run int. I've used run int several times, so that one stays in my head. Run int. So there is. We have run int. We have run range. We have sample. We have seed. We have set state, shuffle, triangular, and uniform, and so on and so forth. Right. So these are like functions that live within this model. Right. So these are functions that live within this particular model. All right. So okay, having that, let's see. Having that, let's do small game, right? Let's say a random mathematical game addition for kids, where they can give us answers to let's say answers to, and you can give us answers to some games. But let me also be sure that we don't have this particular game in our tax. Right, so I'm not sure that I gave this as tax, so we are good to go. All right, so let's do a little bit of practical. So let's say that you want to write a Python script, right? A Python script. So this particular class may likely span for additional 1 hour, please. So just I hope that you guys can stay that long, right? So let's say that you want to write a Python script that a Python script for games, for children games, right? I can't really think of how to structure that question properly, but I hope that you guys actually get the whole question. So a Python script for children's game, okay? And basically this game comprises of addition game, right? Addition game, subtraction game as well, and would also comprises of let's say division as well. Maybe can children do division? I'm not sure, but we're going to do addition, subtraction, and multiplication, right? Multiplication. Maybe you guys can go ahead and add division and the rest of them after the class. All right. So basically, that's what this game is all about. So so if you want to play addition game, so what happens is that we randomly give you 2 numbers and then you give us the addition of it. Same with subtraction. We randomly give you 2 numbers that we subtract from, and then you give us the result. Same with multiplication, we give you 2 random numbers and then you do what you multiply. And maybe we can as well add scores, right? Add scores. Let's see if there are methods to add scores. Maybe what again can we add? What again can we add? We can add scores. We can. All right, maybe we could just work with that, right? We could just work with that. So I'll try as much as I can to do what to incorporate basically everything we've learned so far in Python basics, in this particular task, in this particular simple task here. So basically, I'll bring in try and except, I'll bring in functions, I'll bring in loops, I'll bring in ifs, I'll bring in whatever is required for us for this particular task. I'll bring in whatever is required for this particular task. Okay, so let's just start. Right. So remember, I think I once said that the best way to solve tax is you don't just rush into tax, right? Right. Especially if you're starting out, right? And most times take time to first of all understand the question, and then if possible write out an algorithm of solving that question, right? If possible, if there is need. Right, but over time, you just keep just solving tasks, right? But if you're starting out, I highly recommend do what you write down some algorithm, maybe a few steps. Okay, what will you do? How will you start and how will it end? But it will be a long way, right? It will be a long way because over time you just keep solving your stuff like that, right? Basically, most times I do it, especially if I'm working on a bigger project. So I just write out some few algorithm, right, that will get me through the entire project. But for simple tasks like this, then you can just write out and then we keep editing till we do what till we get the final result. So we get the final result. Right. So first of all, I know that this task should keep running from now to the end of time. All right. So because it will keep running, I'll bring in my while true. So while true is more like an indefinite loop, a loop that runs from now to the end of time. Right, from now to the end of time. So if I should just pray hello, then of course if I execute this run, but this run forever. Hello will keep showing from now to the end of time. That's basically what while true is doing. Right. So if I execute this, we have hello, 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 hello. For me to continue showing the hello to my PC goes off. Right, so I'll end that. We do not want that. All right. So now what we want is that I want to show us a menu that says, "Oh, do you want to play addition, or do you want to play subtraction, or do you want to play multiplication?" Please, if there's any concept that I do here and we don't understand, please do what please unmute and do what and ask these questions, right? Please unmute and ask this question. All right. So what I want to do is to do menu. So what I want to do again is I'll use what models again. So of course I'll include the concept of models. So this I'll have a menu function here, menu, and basically when you invoke this function, what I want to show us is something like this. Maybe some wonderful print. I could just say something like this. It doesn't have the perfect, but maybe hopefully you get the point. All right, so and then I'll take out this face point. Let me just do this. All right, so I would duplicate this. Okay, and then I would say something very simple. Right? Something very simple. I would just simply say welcome to KodeCamp Children's Day. Yeah, right. All right. Okay. So basically, I want to center this. Of course, what I want to do is I can put some space here, so this thing stays aligned, right? And I want to somehow center this one as well. So I'll put this somehow there, put another one somehow here. So by now, you guys are beginning to get the whole point, or should I say, the whole thing I'm trying to do here, right? So I'll bring this man there. So I'll put this man somewhere. All right, and then bring this man somewhere here. All right, so it doesn't need to be perfect, okay? So, but I hope you guys get the whole point, please. I hope you guys get the whole point. So I'm trying to make this, and then somehow down here, I would say choose the option below. All right, so some here, I would just say choose the option below. Choose the option below. So this is where the user gets to do what to choose, and which game and do they need to play, right? Or do they want to do what to actually participate in? All right, so choose the option below. So I'll start giving out my options. So I'll bring it down. So these are just basically print statements, right? I'm not doing anything magical. They're just basically print statements. So in these options, I would give room for number one being addition. So it's easier to validate with numbers compared to strings, right? So it's easier to validate with numbers. So most of the times I prefer validating with numbers than doing with strings. So I'll duplicate this for subtraction. I'll do this for multiplication. All right. So I'll arrange it again. Arrange this again. You don't have to do all these things, right? So this thing I'm just doing it for doing sake. Yeah, it has absolutely no need. These are just a bunch of print statements. It doesn't really solve the problem. All right, and then somehow down here I'll have my option where I would assign this to an input that would simply put one more print statement. So it gives a gap down there, and here I would say enter. Okay, enter, just enter, right? Because no point of writing a message again, because this message here has already said a purpose of that message, right? So you just put option and then the enter, and then from there we can pick it up from there and continue, right? So let's go back and let's see. All right, so I'll
Change the
import that
numbers.
main. Sorry, question.
I was saying like it's only one, like they are the same numbers, change it to 2 and 3.
Sorry. So this should be 2, and this should be 3. All right. Gabriel, your hand is up. You have a question? Mr. Gabriel, your hand is up. Or are you the one that just finished speaking?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Please, wait, let me off this.
All right.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Yeah, I'm not conversant with all the name of all these things. I will just try and just mention something. I thought before you start this while loop, I was thinking we need to create is it called a list that will cover all the codes, something like game, is equals to empty list or something before we start the while loop.
Okay. So I think let's do like this, right? For a benefit of everybody.
Do you get my question?
Yeah, I think I get the question. And maybe that I put something like a list that will show the available games. Abi?
No, I mean before you write this why this thing here, we
Okay.
define a something. Yes.
Something like maybe score. Abi?
Yes.
All right. So it's like I said.
Something like this.
Okay. Apart from this, that they can have any other thing, right?
Like, is this necessary now? That's what I'm asking. Is it
Okay, mainly
necessary?
score.
Yeah.
At this point, right? At this point, so like I said, now we just keep writing the code to do what we adjust till it get to the final result. So at this point, I cannot really tell you if it's necessary, right? But if we had actually written out algorithm, I think that's what we should do, right? So that everybody can be carried along. What we can do is maybe let's write the algorithm of solving this particular task. Abi? Then we can then tell if this man will be necessary. Abi? Okay. So maybe we should do that, right? Let's do that, right? Let's put algorithm, because for me, I'll just write and then keep adjusting till everything gets to the final point, right? So let's put that down. So let's say we will have let's say, hold on. All right, so let's keep adjusting. Hold on. Let's see something. All right. So let's put the algorithm. So the first step is that we need to show the menu, right? Show the menu, right? The menu. For me, that how remember programming is choice, right? It's developer dependent, right? So your method of solving this problem may not necessarily be the same method I would use to solve this problem, right? So, and there is no law that says that every problem must have the same method, right? There's no law that says such thing, right? But for me, if I was to solve this, I will simply show you the menu, of course. And with this menu, we show you room for addition and maybe subtraction, right? And multiplication in this case. And multiplication in this case, right? And this is my step 1. So I'll number this. So this is my step 1, right? We need to show the menu, of course, and then my step 2 will not be based on user choice from step 1. Let's just say if user choice is let's just say if user choice is addition, right? Please forgive all type of error. If user choice is addition, then basically what I want to do here is give two random number. All right. After give two random number, after that I'll do ask user for the result. Right. After that I would also make sure if there's need, I'll also make sure that result is number, right, is number, right? So same thing happens here. Even after this, I will also make sure that user's choice to is number is 1, and make sure it's number, right? So that means I have to bring in my try and accept there. I'll also bring it here as well. Also make sure that result is 1. Now if correct, right? So this should go in here because this is for 1. So if correct, then I would increase score. Increase score. Okay. I would increase score, and then if wrong, I will do not. All right. Okay. So basically, it will be the same for 2, 3, and the same off. So that means I have to somehow have something like score. I have something like score somehow up there. So this will be my 1 now. This will be my 2. This will be my 3. So at this point, we can say that that score is what is actually necessary, right? So I can have something like score, and since user can play more than 1 game, I would love a situation where I have score that should be dictionary, that would track for each game. So that means well, I could basically use maybe I could either use a dictionary, right, where each key can represent each game, and then the value now can be the score for each of those games. Okay, so basically, this will still be the same thing again for my step 4, which will now be for subtraction and multiplication. So it's almost the same thing, right? It's almost the same thing. So are we on the same page? Can we proceed? Do you understand that simple algorithm there, or do I? Should I go over it again? Do you understand? All right. So the silence means that we are following. All right. So let's proceed. Right. Let's proceed. So I'll come up here and I'll change this from dictionary from list to dictionary, where I'll have the score for addition, which in this case is 0 for now, and I'll have the same for subtraction and multiplication. So subtraction, and this will be what? This will be multiplication. Multiplication. Right. So Mr. Samuel, you on it up. I'll meet and ask the question.
Okay, can you hear me, sir?
I can hear you.
Thank you very much. While you are solving, I just wanted to ask, like, kind of a reminder. Why did you use dictionary here instead of list?
Okay, why do I use dictionary instead of list? Please, is that the question? Because I think I'm not hearing you properly.
That's the question. Why did you use dictionary here instead of list?
Okay, all right. So, fantastic question. So the thing is that if I use list, right? Well, it would I would need to put it at the back of my head, right? That let's say that each location of these zeros, right, should stand for should stand for addition, subtraction, and multiplication. Which there is always a tendency where I can forget that the middle 0 should represent subtraction, right? So now, since I can easily forget that particular arrangement, and now option in for dictionary, where each key will represent each value. So this one is more like a label, means a label value. So where I label that this score is addition, and this one here is what is multiplication, and this one here is what is subtraction, right? So that way I don't need to put it at the back of my head where what each 0 or what each core in the list represents, right? So that's why I choose dictionary. But if you can actually remember what each core in this list will stand for, then of course you can go for this. But I personally think that dictionary make a lot of sense compared
It's very clear. Thank you so much.
to do what to actually just label the score, and then you have to actually think about it again. Have I answered the question?
Yes, sir. It's very clear. Thank you, sir.
All right. Okay, so another question again. So someone asked, why not use JSON? All right, I think that's what we would do as well. We will, instead of saving this in dictionary, so of course, if we close this, of course, it will do what? It will wipe out. If I end the program and come back, it will wipe out. So nice suggestion there, right? I will bring in JSON. Right. So just remember, please, just remember me that at some point we'll bring in JSON there and save that problem. All right. And another question, PC, your hand is up.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I am kind of confused why you use dictionary. I was like, I thought this score covers all the codes, something like score is equals to list. Then we bring down at the bottom of this score, we see addition is equals to 0, subtraction is equals to 0, so multiplication is equals to 0. We don't need to put them inside dictionary. So I was thinking that the purpose of putting them to 0 is for them to start from 0. So anything we are imputing, it will start from 0. That's if we already know that it's empty box. So if we want to multiply, it will be from 0. That any number that we put now is like a fresh number. So I was thinking that the score that is equals to list is to cover all the codes, to put them in a particular list or something like that. So
okay.
I don't really know why you added
Dictionary. All right. All right. So So let me give us a simple instance of this. All right. So now remember, both of these things are structures. Are data structures or that collect more than one value at a time, right? So now let's assume that we are using score, right? That we are using list as a score. So what happens is that remember, each score, this score signifies either addition, subtraction, or multiplication, right? And now let's also assume that the user chooses to play addition, and then at the end of it all, he has finished his own game. Maybe let's say that the game is 10 questions per session, 10 questions per session, right? Now what we can do is that, remember, let's say at the end of this game, and we want to assign, let's say the user score is, let's say it's 8 out of 10. I want to assign 8 to the face value here, right? So basically, what you can do is you can say that score, right, of the face value, right, should be equals to what? 8, being what? Being the result of what? Of the addition game, right? Now there's a tendency that we likely forget. Let's say sometime in the future, let's say 10 years from now, we come back again to revisit this code, right? We can easily conclude that probably that maybe that can just simply just come here and change this to 1. Remember, the moment you change this to 1, you've altered the score of another section of the game. So we are likely to do mistake in this indexing. But with dictionary, right? With dictionary, I can just simply just say score is what? Is addition. This one is readable and it's very visible that this score is what is specifically for what? Addition. In this case here, we got 8. Right. So this way is easier to see it than indexing. Is that question? All right. So
it seems like you don't really understand what I'm saying. Like what I'm saying is that what I'm trying to know is that I was thinking that score, like something like score is equals to empty box. You get now below it we write addition is 0, so subtraction is 0. So you don't need to something like that.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we can still do this, right? But we can still do this. But the thing is, remember, this is a loop. This is loop. This is loop. Now, this way is more like, should I say, more like long protocol, if you ask me, because for each time, remember, we want to update, because basically what we're doing now is you'll be appending to this list, right? You'll be appending to the list. You'll be appending to this list. Remember, if this list is empty and you want to add the score of addition, you'll be appending. Abi? So basically, what you'll be doing is this: you come here and you say something like this. You come here and say, let's say score dot append, right? and then we append 0. Let's say you can say that addition should be equals to what? Append 0. All right. Of course, this will work. This will work, but then we should also try to understand that if we say addition is equals to 0, let's say 8, right? And for some reason, so remember, once we append 8 now, we now have a list like this, like what? That's 8, right? Now, for some reason, let's just assume, right, that for some reason the user did not click addition on first trial. He clicked, let's say, multiplication, and we have the same instruction here that says multiplication, right, is equals to the same thing. Let's score dot append, and let's say the person had everything in a multiplication. That would be what? That would be 10. But then we now have something like this now. Now that score is what? Score is 10. It is difficult for us to do what? It's difficult for us to tell this value 10 where it belongs to, right? Where it belongs, because remember, appending means add to the end of the list. So we can't really, it's difficult to keep track of these values that are coming into this list. It's very difficult, because assuming I played addition, right, and I had 8, and then they could not take me back to the main menu to choose another game, and then I still want to go back again and play the same addition again, right? Maybe to change my score, or maybe to increase my score, right? Now, the moment I go back again and play that same game, what happened? It will happen again. So it means that it will add again. Maybe I went and played again and I have 5, right? Now, how do I now know that this 5 and 8 should like, how do I? It's difficult. I don't know if you are getting my point. Now we now have like what, 2 values for one particular game, and we don't want that. Well, we want to be updating the value. If you're playing again, then what? Then the new value should override the existing value. Though it can still be done, but what we are now doing. So if probably we say, okay, let us do what? Let us do like this. Let like this. So instead of appending, right? Let's simply just get this index of 0, right, and change it to what? And change it to, let's say, 10. But remember, more can be for multiplication. So it's right. Though it will work if you sit down and look at it, and it will take a lot of time, right? So dictionary seems more straightforward and easier to manage. I don't even understand my point.
But sir, what I'm trying to ask is,
okay,
like, see how you wrote score is equals to empty list.
Okay.
Can't we just at the place you wrote addition is equals to? Can't we just go straight to 0? Like, addition is equals to 0, multiplication is equals to 0, so that those things will be storing the numbers we'll be imputing. Like, cancel that score and put only 0.
Oh, wait, okay. You mean, do I need to do this? Let's say 0.
Something like this. Something like
and
this.
then do multiplication.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So I think I get the question now. Of course, we can do this, right? Remember, programming is developer's choice, right? I don't feel like using multiple variables for saving related data, because all these things are scores. They are related in some sense. So personally, for me, I don't want to choose it. I want to bring in the concept of data structure and just group all of them. But you can choose to follow this route. Please, this route works. This route works. Remember, there is no, and remember, programming is what is how you think it, right? It's definitely how you think it. If you feel that this way works for you, please, by all means, right? And someone else might feel that this way works for them. There's still no problem. Both of them works. Both of them works. All right. It works.
Okay. I understand.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah,
because I'm kind of new to this one. I've been seeing this, so I've not actually seen the one of dictionary before. So I'm confused why you use this.
Okay. So you say, like I said, there's no straight route. And they say that follow this route to solve it. No, it doesn't really work like that, right? So it's developer's choice, right? It's developer's choice. All right. So So for me, I will use that other means, right? I'll use that in the dictionary way, right? You can choose to still use this way. There's no problem. It works, right? You're not wrong. You're correct. Yeah, correctly correct. Correctly correct. All right. So, all right. Any other question before we proceed? Any other question before we proceed? Any other question? All right. So there's no other question. I would simply just proceed. All right. Okay. Precious, your hand is up. Precious, your hand is up. Please unmute and ask your question.
Oh, okay. I want to say, since this class is about JSON and models, can we just use JSON instead of dictionary? Since we say JSON and dictionary is alike, so we see the way JSON work. So
Yeah,
maybe we attempt our assignments after the class.
yes, we'll definitely come back and do that. Yes, we'll definitely come back.
There's not really time for that again. We're checking the time.
All right. We will fix that up. We'll fix that up real quick. All right, so let's bring in Jason, right? We will definitely bring in Jason. So there is a built-in, that I think I listed it out here. So it's built in here. There is a built-in, there's a built-in, how do I call it? Model called JSON that we can use to do what, to store structured data like this, right? To store structured data like this. So what we can do is we can bring it in and then get it fixed up. All right, so I will simply import JSON. Import JSON, and then we will do what? We will do this. All right, so now to actually save structured data, we have to do what? We have to convert that structured data to equivalent JSON form. Remember, I said that JSON is like a generic form of storing and sharing information, right? Of storing and sharing information. So it means that if I want to send this dictionary structure to someone else that is doing, let's say, PHP, right? I cannot copy this thing and send it for the person. So what I can do is I can convert this thing to equivalent JSON standard and send it to the person, and the person who can process it just fine. So now what do? We need to bring in this model, because that's basically what this model is meant for. Is used to do what? To convert from our native structure, our native data structure to the equivalent JSON structure, and also convert from equivalent data JSON structure to our native data structure. That's basically what that model is meant for. So now what do we do, or how do we fix this? How do we get this fixed? Right. So there is a function called dump and dumps that lives within this, and that lives within this model that we can use in solving this kind of problem. So now what do we do? First of all, we need to do what? To convert. Right. So first of all, we need to convert. Yes, so the thing is that there is equivalent. There are some native structures in Python that just does not actually support. So what you need to do is you need to understand that if the structure that you intend to save, can it be, does that structure have equivalence in JSON? If it does, then of course you are good to go to do what? To actually convert. So let me list out this structure that we have in JSON. Let me list out this structure that we have in JSON that is also available in Python. All right, so we can convert our dictionary to JSON. We can convert our list, convert our tuple. All right, so to our tuple as well. We can, of course, we can convert string. So that we can convert int, float. So we can also convert bool. We can also convert none. Right. So when we convert dictionary to JSON, we have object. So the equivalent data type in JSON structure is object. So when you convert your dictionary, it's being converted to object. So objects have almost the same syntax as dictionary. So that's what you will get in a JSON structure. Then for your list and your tuple, if you convert them, you will definitely get an array object. So it's convertible, right? And then for your string, you will definitely get string, of course. String is string everywhere. So you get string, you get a string type in JSON. And for int and float, we get number. So int and float are all considered as number in JSON, right? And then bool, of course, you get bool as boolean. So you convert your bool, it will give you boolean in JSON, and none will give you null. in JSON. So that is the equivalent in JSON form. Those are the equivalents in JSON forms. Right? Those are the equivalent in JSON form. So those are the things that you can actually do. So with that, you can know what you can know what can be converted to JSON and what can be converted to JSON. So right, so now we have our dictionary, of course. So it means that we can convert it to JSON, which will be object, right? So now how do we carry out this conversion? So it's simply we just use dumps. Right. So we simply say, so what I would do is I would create a JSON file that should do what I should carry out this I'll put pass here for now. So what I'll do is I'll create our equivalent JSON file for saving this. So I'll create a file here and I'll call this score.json. Right. So score.json. So this structure has a file extension, right? So it means that everything that I put in this file have to be in the extension of have to be in a structure that is recognized. So it means that I cannot just come here and put in some random text. You can say that is an error, right? So it's similar to our text file. Remember, our text file text in strings. So it means that we can type, that we can basically type anything here because what is a string. So JSON here is a structure. So it means that whatever is coming in here have to be in a structure. Right? Have to be in a structure. So you can't come in here and type in any random text, right? So now let's go ahead and let's convert. So going back again, we'll convert. So to convert, we have a function called dumps. .dum. So to use that function, I will simply just say, and I will simply call this JSON. I'll simply say JSON. Remember, we brought it in. So JSON.dumps. So dumps. There are two of them. There's dumps with S. There's dump without S. So dumps with S is what does the conversion. So dumps, and then we do what we pass in any of this data type that we have here, and it will add that conversion, which in this case is our score. So I'll pass in our score, right? And that would do what? That would actually carry out that dumping. So that would send that man that will convert that man from our native Python dictionary to that will convert this man from our native Python dictionary to JSON structure. So now what I can do, I can call this dict conversion, first, and then I'll simply just do what save this conversion word to the JSON file. I remember it's similar to how to what we did in our files. We know we use this open function to read and open files. Right, to read and open file. So I'll go back again. And remember, we said that every file that we read has to be closed. So with the help of this keyword, we don't even need to actually worry about closing it again, right? It will be there automatically, right? It will close it automatically for us. So I'll simply say with. So that's the point of this keyword with, right? If you use with to open a file, then you don't have to worry about closing that file because this keyword here will automatically close that file once we are done with that code block, right? Or once we are done with that code block. So I will say with open. In this case, I want to open what? I want to open JSON. I want to open JSON. I want to open JSON. Not JSON score. .json, and I want to open. Remember that we have to specify the mode because by default this mode is in read. So here I want to write to that file, and I will say open this file as, I'll call it file, and then within here I will simply just say within here I'll just say JSON dot dump. So remember this other one without S. So the dump is what writes to the file. The dumps is what converts to JSON, right? So we convert first, and then we do what? We dump it in that file. So now this dump takes in two arguments. So the first one is the converted version of this JSON, right? Which in this case is what is our dict conversion, and then the second one is which file am I dumping this thing to? So in this case, it's this file that we are opening, right? This file that we open has file, right? So you put this file here because that is how we are referencing it. So after if you've opened this file, we do what? We dump it. So we dump this structure inside this file, and that is that. and that is that. So if I should execute this code, then you say that that this structure will be saved in our JSON file. That way it's permanent, right? So we can always go back and go on and update it. So if I run this code now, nothing should really happen. Nothing should happen. So if I should close this now and go back to our file, then we have a JSON equivalent. So this is a JSON equivalent of our file. This is a JSON equivalent of our source code, right? So this is a JSON equivalent of what we've done so far. So that way it is saved there. Then if I need to open it again, then it's easy. Then it's easy. Then I can just simply copy this again because it's similar. So I copy this and then I would paste it here, and then here will open, but here as read, because I'm not writing again. And to read, we simply use JSON.load. So we use load, and then this time around we are loading the file. Right, so we load the file, and I can assign this to a variable, and this will be like what JSON form called JSON. This will be like JSON form, right? And then if I print this, of course, this will show as a JSON form. Remember, if I print it, this will show as a JSON form. So what I can do is that remember, once we, so this will be JSON.loads. Now this load do what we not only bring it, but then it will bring and convert it back to what to our dictionary form, So please use loads, right? Loads will do what will convert to dictionary form, our native dictionary form, right? So if I should print this now, then you see that we have it back again as dictionary form, right? And run this now. To be sure, it says that let's see. It says that what has been JSON. Hold on. Let's see the JSON download. It's missing there. All right, so it's without the S. It's without the S, please. So download will bring out the dictionary form, and from there I can just simply, if I need to get my addition, I can just simply say addition, and this will get me the addition back. So sorry. Hold on. Give me a few minutes to confirm what is happening there. Okay, let's see. Oh, let's see. That should not be so. Let's see something. Let's see type of. Should be our dictionary form. So what we could do is all right, okay. It's coming in as a string. So you have to convert it back to our dictionary. So it's coming as string. So if I should not say the actual value, val should be JSON dot this will give me the dictionary format. So if I should go ahead and do this. All right, perfect. All right, so we have what we actually want. You have a question?
Yes, I do have a question. I don't know
Okay.
if you can hear me.
If I can do what?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. I'm sorry. So my network has really been crappy today because of the rain. So I've missed the whole part, but then I'm going to watch the video when you upload it. I just wanted to quickly ask the dictionary conversion, why we
All right.
needed to do the DOMs and dump again. So in the dictionary conversion, we did DOM score. Why didn't we just do JSON.DOM score then a file? Why did we need to do DOMs and do dump again?
All right. Okay. So, all right. So this conversion here. So these DOMs basically it converts your native Python structure to equivalent JSON structure, right? And then where the DOM actually does the act of writing it, right? Like carrying that JSON structure and that have been converted, right? And then writing it in your JSON file, right? And then writing it in your JSON file, right?
Okay, so this JSON file now automatically added the new line sequence.
So basically, I think, okay, hold on. So I think I see what if you can see what I'm saying. So that DOM actually puts it as a string. I think that's where our problem is. So let's hold on first. Let's do something. So let's take out this line, right? And let's just dump this man directly. We are converting. Let's see. So I'll put this man and just put score there. Let's see something first. And then let's just load. And then let's do type of again. Print type of dict form. All right, so let's see if that can work without even that conversion. So basically what DOM does, what the DOMs and the load does is converting, right, between your native and JSON to your native. But let's see if this can be written directly without perfect. Okay. All right, so let's go back and let's see what happened. Exactly. So this is what I wanted. This is basically what I wanted. So you don't need to actually convert it, right? So just simply just dump it directly, and that will just dump it without wrapping it in string. So what happens is that those dumps actually wrap those things in string, and then the loads to also wrap it, send the converted version, but also in string. So which have to actually come again and then load again, right? So we don't want that stress again. So what you can do is just simply just dump it directly and simply just load it directly. You don't even need to do loads and dumps. So dump it directly and load it directly. Does that make sense? So this is basically what you need to do. Just dump the structure as it is and load it as it is. You don't need to carry out that conversion any longer. Are we together?
Yeah, understood.
All right. So any other question? Bankole, your hand is up again. All right. Go ahead and ask me Bankole.
Okay. Thank you. A quick one. So now it's getting clearer from the explanations that you've given regarding the JSON files and how to load data into them. So, but so far you've used dictionary. Does this mean that it's the JSON only works with converting dictionaries into JSON? Yes. And secondly, the loads, when you used it actually worked, and when you used the DOMs as well with the S, both actually worked. So in what cases can we make use of DOMs and loads in our code?
Okay. All right. So first of all, for the first question, this conversion doesn't really work with dictionary. It works with, I think I listed out the available supported types for JSON, right? And then I think it covers almost all the types in Python. So this is list. So if this is dictionary, list, and tuple. So list and tuple will be converted to a type known as array in the world of JSON. And then your dictionary will be converted to a type known as object in the world of JSON. Same with your string, your int and float will be seen as numbers. So in Python, int and float are different, but in JSON, int and float are all seen as numbers, right? So boolean is seen as bool is seen as boolean, and none in Python is seen as null in JSON. So these are the things that works with JSON types. Okay, so it's not just dictionary. So your list and tuple works as well. Right? So your list and tuple works as well. And then for the dump and load, so the thing is that the dump and load actually carry out this conversion in a string form. So if I should do dumps, right? So it takes your dictionary type, right, and then change it to string, and so that now when you now dump it, it's now dumping it as a string of your dictionary, of a string of objects rather, right? A string of equivalent JSON structure. And then when we now want to load, it's now loading back that string that was dumped like that, right? So that means after loading that string, you have to now go ahead again and convert again from the string to our actual dictionary. So most of the times you don't even want to do that, right? So I don't even know why I actually did that, but you don't have to do that. So basically, you can just dump the structure as it is. So if you dump this structure as it is, this native dictionary, right? And this dump function will do what will automatically before dumping the structure into that file, it will convert it appropriately to the appropriate type for JSON, and then just save it there. And then when you now retrieve it, you can just retrieve it back directly to your equivalent data type without the need of moving from string to the actual one, or from the actual one to string, and so on and so forth. So there's a possibility that you will likely never use that other method. Right, so it is certain. Please, any other question? Any other question? All right. Okay, Mr. Gabriel, your hand is up.
You said like when we did this thing now, it dumped this code as string now on JSON. Okay. Now, if we use list, will it still dump it as a string?
If you use int?
If we use list.
If you use list, it will dump it as an array. So let's just try with this. Let's put score 1, and then it will be a list of, sorry, this will be score underscore 1, and this will be a list of 0, 0, 0, and then I'll simply just dump score 1 instead. So you see that if I should dump score 1 and then load, and then this should now be seen as an array, right? So if you go back again, so we have so this is an array, but it looks like list, right? But if you use a type of this thing, it's an array, right, in JSON. So it doesn't just work with dictionary. It works with every type. Any other question? Any other question? All right, so no other question. So let's see what we can do before if we eventually run out of power. All right. Okay. All right. So any okay. So can we continue, please? Can we continue? So that's basically how you load and how you write to JSON. Right. So now this method here is useful if you intend to write a structured data to something, right? All right. So something is loaded. It's just that we haven't printed what is actually loaded, but something is actually what loaded. So you don't have to actually worry about that. Right. So if I should just print out this man, then you say that something actually did load. All right. So let's continue with our game and let's see what we can do in a small time that we have left. All right. So let's bring in. This thing is too far, so I'll cut it and bring it down, please. This implementation is too far. I have to be screwed. Right, so I'll bring it down here. Right, and then okay, let's continue. So I have to bring in. So we don't need any of this H and greeting again. So we have to bring in actual something. So let's bring in our menu, because that's the main thing that we want to see. So let's bring our menu. And then here we want to invoke that menu. So I want to call on my menu here, and I want to invoke. All right, so and then this menu says that if we enter something, we should basically just make sure that so let's just run and let's see that is working fine. Then we can proceed. Let's take it step by step. Go. All right, so it's working just perfect. So yeah, welcome to KodeCamp Children's Game. Choose option below 1, 2, and 3. Right. So and then down here we have the option to write. Okay, so we are getting somewhere, right? We are getting somewhere. So where are we now? We finished Okay, so we have our score here. So remember, I'll take this back to score so that this will get saved. I'll take this back to score. Yeah, I'll take this. I'll move this one out, and I'll change this to score, please. And now I want to write this score directly to our JSON. So even if we come back and load this game, we don't have to. So I'll comment this. Then probably I can come back and make sure that that we have something here already. That if we load and something is there, then we don't have to write again. So that we don't keep writing and overwriting what we have there, right? So basically, what I can do is this. Maybe I can just load first. Let me just load first, right? So I'll comment on this. So I'll load, and then I would basically come here and then check that if dict form, right, is not equals to none. So it means that that if I load and what I'm having is not none, right? Like the content of it is not like that this man is not telling me none, right? It's not telling me none. Then I don't want to. Okay, then if it's telling me none, rather then I want to go ahead and dump, right? So I'll cut this man and then just go ahead and dump. Do you understand what just happened there? Is there anyone that doesn't understand what just happened there? All right, so first of all, I loaded, right? So I want to make sure that what I'm actually loading is available. But if it's not there, then I want to go ahead and write. So this way I don't get to be writing all the time. I don't get to, for each time I execute this script, I don't want to be updating what is there, right? I don't want to be updating what is there. So I would but before I put that condition, let us override this thing that we have there already. So I would still go ahead and write. All right. So I'll copy and I'll put it down up there and then run this one more time so that it overwrites what we have there, because we had an array there and I don't want to have an array. So after that I can come back and delete it out. So if I go back to my JSON, all right, so we have the array as it is. All right, so now we want to come back and check again that if we open again and it's none, then we want to know what's right. So we fix that part number. Any question? All right, so I assume that we are all following that concept or what we are doing there, right? Oh wait, okay. So the thing is that the thing is that if we try to open a file, right? Let's do like this. Okay, let's give an instance of something. Let's give an instance of something, right? Let's give an instance of something. Let's make that file to be empty. Let's make that file empty, right? So basically, I want a session that if I should load. So also I'll cut this out. Right, and put it and make it empty for now, right? So now if I should say print dict form. So basically this should if there's nothing there, then we should find a way of checking that there's nothing there in the dict form. So it says that where are we? All right, so it says so we said that we are having problem trying to load because there's nothing there. Expecting value at least one line of code there, but it's absolutely there is zero character, right? There is zero character. There's nothing there. We cannot load it, right? So we cannot load anything that is there. So what we can do is that okay. So we don't even. So what we can do is to just do try and accept there. I think try and accept works the better. So try will do what we'll try to load, right? And then if there is a problem with that loading, right? It means that if there's nothing here in this file, like as it is, then we want to do what? Then we want to go ahead and dump, right? So we go ahead and just dump instead. So this will be that. Do you understand that point, Mr. Gabriel? Do you understand that point? So we try to load, right? If it's empty, meaning that it throw an error saying that nothing is there, right? Then if it's a problem, then we do what? We dump it instead, right? We dump instead. Now if I should now run again, so I'll call this dict form again. So I'll call this dict form. So if I should now run this again, and then say print dict form, then we should have something there. So it means that if it's empty, then something should stay there. So if I'll go back and of course it's still empty. See if I should run again. If I should run our model again. So it works. So okay, here it's telling us that it's telling us none. Why is it telling us none? Let's see what is happening. Well, it shouldn't. Where is that none coming from? Let's be sure. All right, so it shouldn't be showing us none. All right, let's see something. Let's see. All right, so yeah, it's true. Right. All right. So what happened? Remember, is that with this keyword with, right? It closes once we are done with that block of code. So what I will do is I would simply just say data form is equals to an empty string, right? And then up here, before I close, I will just simply say let dict form, right? Let dict form be equals to dict form. Okay? Yeah, that makes sense. So that once we are done with this block, before it closes, we can do what we can have the dict form available up there. All right. So if I run this again, so this should work. At least just all right. So it's working as expected. All right. Do we have question? I'm not making things complicated for us. Do you understand what is happening here? Okay, please unmute and ask the question. Unmute and ask the question, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Passy. So, yeah, I understand the try and accept blocks that we have now. What you just did now is what I don't understand, which is to equate or to assign dict form. Yes, exactly that part you just highlighted to dict form. And that none that showed when you ran the code, was it from the file, the JSON file, or
it's
from
this
Python?
File. It's from the file. All right. So remember, when we're talking about file handling, we said that once you open every file, you must close that file, right?
Yes.
But then and I said that most times we tend to actually forget. So that is why we are bringing this special keyword called with. If you now open a file, right, like this, with this keyword with, right, it means that once Python executes that code, once we step out of this code block, it means that once we go to the next line of code, that it will automatically close that file. So what happens is that when we now get to this point of printing that dict form, that file have closed. So we're having none, like nothing was sent back. So you get. So now I'm not coming up here saying that before it closes, right? Let me do what assign the file to this variable. Okay, so that once we come out, it has closed. But then we can still get the values that was there in that file. That's basically what I just did there.
Okay, but with this one that you have now, let's assume that this code or JSON file was not existing.
Okay.
Will it create it and dump it inside?
No, it's not created. That is where we will need to change this from R to X. Remember, I think in our previous code, I listed the available mode X. So X creates the file, right? So if the file is not there, if you use the mode X, it will create the file for you, right? But in this case, if you use R instead of X, R expect that file is already available, right? R expect that file is already available. R and W expect that file is already available. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. So any other question, Mr. Fidelis, your hand is up.
Okay. So why did you assign the dict form to a string rather than using a dictionary?
Right. So I think that you know that well we could have just assigned anything. We could just use number, use anything. But the thing is that I just wanted a variable that should exist. I know that in Python we can't create a variable without giving that variable a value, right? So I can even give it a value of none, but the value here doesn't really matter, right? So the main thing was let there be a variable that I can override that value before I do what I close this file, right? So that value was absolutely of no use to us. But since Python won't let us create variable without giving it a value, so I just gave it string, right? So the main aim was that at some point I should do what? I should be able to change the value of that variable to what? To the actual content of that file. Do you understand? Do you understand? Right. So I assume that he understood. All right. So let's proceed. So I'll leave it as none as it is, right? I'll leave it as none as it is. Okay. So let's at least let's try and do even if it's one section of this code, right? Let's try and do at least even if it's one section of the code. All right. So now what do we do? So now that we have our file, so it means that this man here is stored there. So I can even choose to delete this man at this point if I want to, because we are no longer using it, right? Everything will come from that file, right? So I can choose to delete it out because we've dumped it already, right? We don't so everything is there. We no longer need it, right? We no longer need it. But if there's need for it, then you can still leave it. So that means as I have to do the same thing here, right? I have to do the same thing here. Remember, if I also open it's not and then once I step out, it will show me none. So I have to repeat that same thing here so that I can always send it back out. Okay, so now we have that in place. Now we have our menu. Now our menu says that we can enter a number, right? So what I can do again is I can come here and then I can say try. Is maybe I can just put this in a loop. Let's just put while loop. Yeah, I don't like loops, but let's just use it. Regardless though. Okay, so let's put here, and then inside here, I want to do a try and accept that says value, right? Option rather, OPT. That says not really there though, not really at that point. Not really at that point. It should be before this option point. Right, so before this option point, so I want to keep repeating this option until it's valid, right? So I'll put my while, and then I'll put my true, and then I'll shift this inside. So I want this to be repeated all the time. And then what I want to do is I want to do my try, and then to make sure that sorry, not after that, I have to make sure that whatever is coming in here is integer. So I'll do my int. Remember, I'll have to typecast. If not, it will not work. All right, so I have to put my try here as well. All right, and then in this try, I say try to get this option. If there's a problem with it, then I can accept value error, right? And then I can let you know that I want you to go ahead and do. I want you to go ahead and do what? And enter a valid number. Enter a valid number. All right, and then I want to simply do what? Skip the iteration. So go back again and ask you to enter. All right. Apart from that, basically, that is all what we have to do. So let's just try this out and let's see. So I'll go back and run my code. And then it tells us enter a number. If I type it something like 1, it says enter a valid number, and then it takes us back, right? And then it keeps doing that. So even if I put rubbish there, it keeps taking us back, and so on and so on. That is basically what we want. So it's working just fine. Very unmute and ask a question. Right, and while Bray is coming up, let me put an empty sprint here so it skips a little bit. Please ask a question, Barry.
Notice that and when you run that code again, that dictionary form did not show on top, like how it was showing before.
Yeah, I deleted that print statement. So there was a print statement here that I printed the disk form. Okay. So I printed it out. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so let's go back again. And so then next thing now is that we want to continue until you've done what needs to be done. So until that time, then I can now check that if option, right? So if option, whatever you've typed there is equals to 1, then basically what I want to do is to put in another loop. All right, so basically I'll just break this man out. Yeah, I'll break this man out. So I don't want to keep looping this man ever. So I'll break this man out. So I'll take this man outside my loop. So I only want to loop this process, right? This particular, just that process of getting that. So I don't want to keep looping the entire code, right? So I only loop it when there's need for it, right? So if option is 1 being addition, then what I want to do is I want to bring in a model called this one is a built-in model. So I don't have to think about the file, right? So it's a built-in model. So I'll bring in this model called random. So I'll import random. right? And then this random, I want to randomly just bring in some numbers. So what I want to do is random is to get random two numbers, right? So what I will do is well, I can write another function for that, right? I can do another model for that, right? So let's just do that real quick. And this model, I'll call it logic, right? I'll basically call it logic for now. So let's put another mod 2. So mod 2.py, right? So this one mod 2.py will basically be holding those logic. So I'll just bring this thing in. So I'm just trying to use this concept as many times as possible, right? So that we get familiar with it. Right, so I'll bring in mod 2. So I can still write that code there, but just for reusing sake, right? Let's just no, it's it's not compulsory, right? I'm just trying to reuse the whole concept of modeling, right? So you can use so you can have as many models as you want, right? Right. So basically now this mod 2 is a model for mod 1, and mod 1 is a model for actual models. It doesn't really matter, okay? It doesn't really matter, right? So all right, so I bring in my random, and then I have a function that will give me addition number, right? That will get two numbers and then just add, right? So I have my addition. I have my addition, and then this addition takes in two numbers. So it takes number 1. I'm not even thinking of this logic there. So there's a tendency that I'll come back and edit this code, right? It doesn't really work out as I'm picturing it. So basically, this one here will just now let's go back again and let's see our code again. So basically, we have to get two numbers, right? And this, okay, not really two numbers. So we have to give, not to get, right? So we have to give, right? So that means I have to have a model that should give me two numbers, right? Yes, I have to have a model to give me two numbers. So I'll take this additional model that gives two numbers. So this might we are not receiving, we are giving, right? So this man will take in two numbers called x, and this will be what? And this will be a random number. So there is a function in random called runInt. So runInt is a function that takes in numbers, right? It takes in numbers. I think it takes more than one number. So and then it randomizes any number. It randomly taking a number between that specified range, right? So if I say from 1 to 12, I think since it's for children, we shouldn't go more than 12, right? So 1 to 12, and then I'll do the same thing. Oh, sorry, I'll do the same thing, copy and paste, and this one here will be y, right? So runInt. This should be runInt, not random. runInt. Sorry, runInt. Right. So basically, x and y will be any random number between 1 and 12, right? And then at the end of it all, I want to return. So I want to return what? I want to return x comma y, right? Okay, so that is for addition. And then I would simply come here. We go back to my mod, and then what I want to do is I bring in that model. So I would simply say from mod 2 import addition, right? Okay, and then come back here, and then if option is 1, so I'll simply just call addition. So I have my num1. Remember, I'm sending out two numbers. So remember that we can simply just have two variables for num1 and num2, and that will be what addition. And num1 and num2 would signify what x and y. Remember, this function is sending out two values, and those values are coming in as a tuple. Remember, we talked about this in our function class, right? So num1 and num2 would be those two values, right? Num1 and num2 would be those two values. All right, so all right, so let's go ahead. So after this, now I want to do what I want to simply print. So I want to simply print this question. Okay, so at this point, I want to put some print up there so that we have some spaces between that option of that we just finished typing and the actual question. So here I'll simply say print oh boy, okay, print f string. What is the addition? So this is actually up to me. You can choose the block of so we put in for num1 plus num2. All right, so this is the question, and then we have a variable called answer, and this one here would simply be a print. So I'll just copy some. I'll just copy this man. So basically, I think I'll just copy this whole thing here because we want everything to make sure that whatever you're sending in for us is valid. Is a valid number. We don't want any situation like we don't want any situation that you type in something that you don't want. So I would simply say put this in a loop, and this will be what this will be called answer. So I'll say enter. So whatever it is now, I'll keep bringing you back to this answer till what you enter, put in a valid phone number, right? Sorry, a valid integer number, okay? Because of course this int will not bring a float. It will always be whole number. So it means that your answer will be what a whole number, right? So that's basically that. And okay, almost done. That, and then what again is that now we want to check that if whatever you type being the answer, right, is the same thing as num1, the same thing as num1 plus num2. Since it's addition, it doesn't really matter how you place it, whether num1 comes first or num2 comes first. It doesn't really matter, right? So I'll just put this in brackets so it can carry out that operation real quick. Now, if it's the same, then I can do what I can update our score, right? I can update our score. So I'll put in a string here that says update score. Okay. So let's just put everything I want so that we can just come back and test it out. All right. So the score here in this case is that the score here is unfortunately is here. So you have to bring in that score back here. So if it's there, right? If it's so I need to somehow also load this information down here, right? So there's no problem. So what I want to do is I only want to dump when we've done when please can I delete this out for now, so it doesn't complicate things, right? So I'll have another variable called score, and this will be maybe I will just use that other method that someone suggested, addition, right? No, can't use addition because it's addition. Okay, so this we can actually rename variable though, because like now I want to have a variable called addition that should be equal to 0, but then we have a module called addition which conflicts, right? So what do we do? There's a keyword called as. So if I say as add, then that means I want to reference this man as add. So that means I have to come back here, right, and just convert this man to what, to add. So that's how you do what, you rename a module. So if it conflicts with your with your variable name, use as, and then you do what, you rename it, right? So I'll duplicate for subtraction. So okay, I'll just leave it for I'll put subtraction. You guys can come back and do that, and then I'll put multiplication. All right, so let's confirm that we have at least few battery left. Okay, so we have few battery. Okay, let's continue. All right, so
can you check the spelling of the addition? And I'm not sure why it's not underlining it as an error. Probably that was how you named it too. Because you are omitting I. It's Ahmed. I'm saying yes.
Oh, that is true. But I think that's how I named it though. You see? That's how I named it.
Okay, that's why.
Yeah, that's why it's not omitted. But let's just fix that out. So we come back here and we put our I. If not, so this will throw an error saying that we don't have such model. All right, so basically I think that is all. What do we need again? All right, so let's come back. So after we've added, after we've done this, then basically what we want to do is we want to update that score. So we basically want to say that for each time you have a correct answer is 10, right? For each time we have a correct answer. Let's see. All right. Okay, so let's continue. No, you come back and we'll fix it. So we just say addition should be equals to addition plus 1. So we're adding 1 to addition for each time you have it correctly. Then for each time you don't have it correctly, we just say you are wrong, and then we give you a next answer, and sorry, the next question. So we give you a next question. We could say you are wrong. Okay. Sorry, I'm taking so much of your time. I I know we've gone past our usual time. No, we are not wrapping it up. All right, so let's see. Let's just try out this one that we've worked on and see if it's working as expected. Right, so let's see it's working as expected. Hopefully it should not. So let's go back and let's try out some things. So we have that we fixed. Yeah, so it means that you can't type anything here. You have to type a valid number. So that makes sense. So I'll come here and type 1. Let me confirm that it is 1 that we did. So do we say this is equal to 1? Yeah, okay, exactly. So let's go back. So if I should type 1 and enter, it says, well, what is the addition of 12 and 12? So you see, it's randomized kind of, right? But if I type in any random stuff, it takes me back, enter a valid number. So it makes a lot of sense. So if I should say, let's say it's 24. All right, so it says addition is, let's see, is cannot access local variable addition where it is not accessed with a value. So okay, I'm still making addition again. So mere and spelling error. Sorry, please. This is addition. Please, I keep using addition. You just confirm that it's addition. Oh. So let's confirm this and let's see. If answer is equal to addition, should be duplicate of addition. All right, addition. So this is addition. All right, so the error says that we can't reference a local variable. So this is not actually local. This is global, kind of. Okay, let's see. All right, let's proceed. Let's try that again so that we can probably see what is happening there. Okay, and then numbers addition. So you get to see that these values are what these values are randomized. You can see it are actually randomized. 11 and 12, that is 15. And let's see what is happening. It says that that unbound error that cannot access local variable addition where it's not associated with value. All right, let us see. Let us see what addition is looking like. Mod 2. So mod.
We just take like 90. Take like 90.
Sorry.
Like in that error, they say something like check like 90. What's like in model.
Let's do that again. One more time. Okay. One more time. 1. And it says this is 16. I think. So let's see what is happening kind of. I want to see the source code so I know what is happening. See that it's 16. So it says that addition line 55, but it says cannot where it's not associated with a value. It is actually associated with a value. It is associated with a value. Let's see what is happening. Let's see what is happening. Okay, wait, hold on. Probably it's. Do we have typo error? Sure, we have typo error. Okay, let's say let's do like this, right? Let's say user addition. It's time to debug. This is one thing about programming. You of course you are bound to face a problem. So you have to just follow up the code one by one and see what is happening in it. Right. So let's change this to user addition. And then we say, all right, and then let us see that. Let's say that user addition. I want to be sure what is happening is equals to this. So let's go back again and let's rerun this code. So I'll come here and I'll type in 1 and I'll say this is 18. So it says that what that cannot access user addition where is not associated. So I think the problem is this. All right, so the problem is It's not local, kind of. All right, so let's go back again. So I think the problem is something related to this. So the problem is this, right? Is that this function, right, is being used in another script, right? And then but then this function is also trying to access a variable in its own model. So I think that is the problem. So what we're going to do is we want to make sure that we wrap everything up inside this function. So let's put this man there and let's see. That should resolve the problem. I'm thinking, right? Let's wrap it up again. And just see. Okay, so you see, this is 17. Right, so you see it works just fine. So I think that is the problem, right? That is the problem. Now this function is being used in another script, but the function is using another external variable within itself. So that is the problem, right? That is the issues, right? So that is the issue. So that means everything needs to live and die in that man. It needs to live and die in that man. All right, so let's go ahead. Let's see. So that is the issue, right? So we've rectified that. So we can go back to our user addition equals to user addition plus 1. All right. So please unmute and ask, Mary.
Okay, maybe it's because it's not import the whole module.
Yeah,
Maybe just imported.
Yeah, it could be, but not too certain. Okay, let's just try and see them. But I'm not sure it's a problem, right? Let's just see. So I'll still import the whole model, import mod, right? And then I'll still import menu as it is. So I'll go back again and then I'll change that. So what do I want to do? I want to go back again and then I want to carry our user addition and I want to put it outside of this function. Right, so let's go back and let's reuse. Run. All right, so we put in 1 and we put in, this is 21. I say it's still the same thing, right? It's still the same thing. So it means that if we call a module, that module is coming on its own. It is coming on its own. Maybe if I just, okay, let's try something else. Let's do, so instead of saying menu, let's say mod.menu. Sorry, not mod, I think mod.menu. All right, so let's run again. Let's see. So there's nothing wrong in trying. Let's put 1 and let's put this 17. So it's still the same thing. So that means that man has to live inside that function. That man has to live inside that function. All right. Okay, so let's continue, right? So I want to keep doing that for each time, but then you see our code stops. Our code takes us back to. So let's see what happens after we've answered the first one. So let's say, excuse me, 1, and then we have this is 9 plus this is 16. So it takes us back to menu, which we do not want that, right? We don't want that. So what do? Let's go back and let's solve. Let's go back and let's solve. All right. So so this while loop works for this man, right? And then it takes us back to home menu, kind of. Right? It takes us back to home menu. So because now why is it taking us back to home menu? Because this is basically the end of this function, right? If you answer or fail, this ends that function, right? It ends that menu function there. But then because this menu function is in a loop, so what happened? It revoked that function again, right? That's basically what is happening there. So what do we want to do after answering? So if you are correct, we want to go back and loop, right? If you are correct, you want to go back and loop. So let's see. So we want a situation where we can have this each time. So we want to have this every time we are correct, right? So you want to have this every time we are correct. So we don't want to end that. So what do? I will simply come again and wrap this in while loop again. I hate loops, but we don't have a choice. All right, so let's put this in. All right, so remember this man here can cancel that inner loop. So we have to find a way of canceling that outer loop. So if you are correct, then basically nothing should happen. So it takes you back to this man to where you have another new question. So let's go back and let's try. So okay, basically, okay, we don't want to put this in loop. So because we want this question to be only 10, right? Because each session is 10. So I'll change this from and use for loop instead. So for item in range of 10. All right. So you want that to only happen 10 times. So it will stop after 10 times. All right. So we don't even need to actually break or continue here, right? So it will stop after 10 times. So you go back and later on. Okay, what happened? Right. So at this point, we now say 1 addition. 2 plus 4 is 6. So you put 6. So you see it keeps going back. This is 10. This is 4. This is 5. 4. Maybe let's just make some mistakes somewhere. So this is 10. And this is 10 again. And this is maybe 20. Maybe 20. This is 10. Let's just, this is 14. Please, are we sure that this thing, okay, that's finished. All right. Because I wanted to be sure that this is not looping forever. So we've solved the problem basically, right? We are almost there. So that's basically how I write my own code. I just keep editing till it gets to where I want it to get to. All right, so let's edit and let's get it done complete. So now that we have this, so when it gets to 10, then I want to do what? I want to save the final score, right? I want to save the final score to addition. Okay, so and then if there's need to play again, then I can take you back there. All right, so so let's go back again to mod and let's see. So what I want to check is that, so I keep doing this. So basically what I want to check again is that so before we go back again, is that I want to check if item, which now this item, remember this item is coming from our loop variable. Remember, please, it's coming from our loop variable there. So now if we've looped and we've gotten to 9, if we looped and we've gotten to 9, being the last iteration, right? Then I want to simply just show you your total score. So I'll say print. I'll put in some blank this thing there, and then I'll say print again, and then I'll say f string, of course, your total score for the addition game is I'll put in my equally braces, and then I'll put in user addition score, right? So at that point we've had your final score, right? And then what happens again is that after showing you that, then I want to append it to what to I want to append it to our JSON. So what do? I go back again. Since I have JSON already open somewhere, so I'll go back. So at this point, I don't even have to worry about if that JSON file is empty, because before we even get to the menu, it was created and contains some things, right? And contains some things. So now what do? I can come back here and open it instead. I want to write to. Right? Maybe I want to just do both. So I'll copy everything. Right? I'll come back. I'll copy everything. Come back again. So what do I want? I'll just edit when there's need. So when sorry, scatter. I have to indent. Indent. Right. So it means that after I have bring in JSON as well. I'll bring in JSON. So import JSON. All right. What again? All right. So now I want to try to open score.json, right, as a file, and then load, right? And then if it's not there, I don't want to dump. So I only want to try, and then maybe if I can't open it, right? So it means that there's something wrong. So I could just say unable to save your score at the moment. It could be so. This thing happens a lot. So unable to save score at the moment. Right? Okay, so now we've opened. If not there, if you can't open, right? If you can't read from it, then we do what we say that we can't write, that we can't save your score at the moment because I'm trying to read from it. Now, but if you open it, so remember I told that there is 4 keywords for try, except, and right, that we have try, finally, and else. And then I told that we should go and check out finally and else, right? So else, I'll use else here. And else works. Else is a block that we execute, right? If there is no problem with your try, right? So it means that if you open this thing and there's no problem, then else will do what? Else will execute. So at this point, this is where I want to do what? Dump it. So what do I do? If I should come here and say, remember, if our dictionary form now, okay, so that means you have to bring in dict form as well. You have to bring in dict form at some point outside here. So dict form should be here. So dict form, dict form should be equals to none. Remember, once we close out of if of with, this file here will come for none. So we don't want that. So we want that before we close out, that this man has saved this man out there. Okay, so after that has been done, so now what do I now want to do? I want to now say that I want to use dict form, right, and get the value of addition. I want to use git form and get the value of addition. So if I should now say get the value of addition of, let the value of addition of this git form, right, should now be equals to, should now be equals to the new value, which in this case is user addition, right? So after that now, I can now do what? I can now dump again. So after that again, I'll do what? I'll do another try and a set, and later I want to dump. So that means because I open it, I can simply just dump it, right? So because there's no problem with that, so I'll go back again, and I'll just do dump. So I'll go back again, put it here, and then dump. All right. So in this case here, I want to dump. So I'll assign this. I want to dump this dict form again. So I'll dump the dict form, and then in the file, I don't even need to bring it out again. So it's saved. Okay. Maybe that makes sense, right? I think so. Do you have questions, please? Because I think I'm the only one that is just talking.
Just run the code first. Let's see.
All right, please. If I'm making things complicated, please let us know, right? Because I'm also trying to make sure that at least I finish some portion of our code, because I'm running out of battery, right? So let's just run the code and let's see if it's working. Then we can come back and answer questions and maybe fix some bug if there's any bug. All right, so we go back again, and so for the purpose of testing, I reduce this loop to 2. Right, maybe I can come back and change it to 10 later. So I'll change it to 2 for the purpose of testing, please. All right, so I have one pass and one fail. So that means I have 1 as my final score.
That place that was 9. That place that was 9.
Yes.
Sorry?
Remember to go and change that place that was 9. Remember you stop, just go back to that place. You see where you put 9, change it to 1. See
Okay,
9.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Correct. That's a very quick observation. Correct. That is wonderful. It means that we are actually following. All right, so let's run and let's see. All right, so let's enter 1, and let's see. Let's just answer this one as correctly, and let's answer the other one wrongly. So I'll put in 10 here, and it says your total score is 1, right? Yes, and let us see our adjustment file. You can see that what additional what has now been changed to 1, so it's working. So maybe in our menu we can add where someone can view high score. Abi? Yeah, so you can add where you can view a high score. So that is that, right? It works. It works as expected. So what I can do is to come here and put a space after this result, your total score, right? For addition game. So go back there, and after your total score for addition game, go back to mod. Total score for addition game. Where are we? Right here. Total score for addition game. After that, I can just simply put some couple of prints, maybe two of them. All right, and that's that. Okay, question. Bankole, bring it on. Right, ask.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much. So, what point did you dump the dump is to, correct me if I'm wrong, please, is to convert JSON to, dictionary object to JSON. That was the purpose of using the dump at the last part of the, yes, yeah.
Okay, me here. All right, so the purpose of using the dump was so that we can save that value of addition to this JSON font, so that even if I close that file and come back and open it, I can still have my high score of 1. Still remember, if you use the dictionary, once you close your program, it's gone, right? That high score is no longer safe. So the whole point was to make sure that I can close my program and come back and everything is still as it is, right?
Okay, so we don't need to come since we've already with what you have here. Let me just try and see if I can interpret it, because you said no. Can you go back to the
Right,
yes, to mode? Yes, this part. So now here we have that the dict form addition is equals to user addition. So you now say that, okay, we now open the file here with the next line, and we want to write the result of the dict form just for addition alone. That is what you did here.
Yes. So I updated the value of the addition and then dump it back again. Because this particular score is just for addition. I'll do the same thing for multiplication and the rest.
Thank you.
All right. Precious, Precious.
Yeah, hello. Mine is not really so much of a question. I had network issues, and it was really bad to follow up with the class. So I'm kind of like pleading. It's possible to have the link dropped at least maybe the next 2 hours, the link of the recording for today's class. So at least those of us that don't follow up, or those of us that maybe have one or two misunderstandings somewhere, can go through it and start our tasks.
All right. I will do that. I will.
Please, I'm coming to your DM if I not see the link in the next 2 hours. So I'm coming to come and disturb you for the link in your DM.
Yeah, it will later. Yeah. So, right. Any other question? Imo Akan. Right.
Yes. It's not Akan, it's Akan.
Akan. Oh, sorry. Hey.
Okay.
Sorry.
Thank God, me, I'm not a disturbance person. I just wanted to ask, what did I want to ask of? Yeah. So what I'm seeing you do with the dump is that it is overriding the previous course. So what if I want to add to the JSON file? I don't want to override.
Then at that point, what you want to do is want to use append, right? So append actually. So if I open up that if I open up this man in append mode, it will simply just add to that append. So it is simply add instead of overriding. Right. So remember, in our previous class, we did the different modes of opening file. So we have the append mode that adds to the existing, right? So it works with JSON as well.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Gabriel. Yeah, Gabriel.
My own, I made different. I didn't really understand the processes here, so
right.
I don't know what they are talking about JSON. Me, I have not even understood the other part talking about JSON. So maybe after I will go and rewatch it and see how it goes. But my question now is based on assignment submission. How are we going to submit it? If at all there is JSON assignment there now, how are we going to include all these files?
Okay. So basically, what you would do is that each and I think the instruction is there. So each task should be in a folder. So it means that inside this KodeCamp folder now, right? Let's say I want to do my task 1. So what do? I have to come here and create a folder called task, maybe task 1, right? And then inside task 1, all my file will now live there for that task 1, and then do the same thing again for task 2. And then all the sorry that task 2 was created inside task 1, which is not supposed to be so. Please delete it out. Right. So please this let's not deleting some. Okay. So basically I want to do come again, create another folder outside task 1 or place task 2, and then see. So I have my task 1 with all the files for task 1, and then task 2 with all the files for task 2, and then at the end of it all, I am submitting what the KodeCamp folder that contains all these files as subdirectory. Does that make sense?
Yes, I yes.
All right. Okay, so Bankole, your hand is up.
Yeah, sorry, sir. My question is getting too much.
So that's what I meant to do now, eh?
So yeah, thank you. Are we rounding up already?
Yes, I think we've almost 2 hours. Yeah, almost 2 hours now.
Okay, I wanted to ask if how possible it would be if we can have an additional section whereby that will be different from just pick maybe one of the maybe after assignment submission, when everybody has submitted, that we can pick one of those 5 tasks that we get for the project to to discuss. Probably it could just be between the students, the trainees, while you explain and give better understanding to it. I don't know how possible that would be, because it's like, assigning another time out of your tight schedule. So I said I should ask if that would
that can work, right? That can work, but I think that we can never just tell which submission is the final submission. That's the funny thing about this country. You can never tell which submission is the final submission, right? Everybody can just agree now that they've also submitted. Next day, after that class, you say like 50 extra submission. It's possible. So in that case, what would I do? Of course, I have to grade them, but then I would be biased because these people have done what I have attended that class, and maybe for some reason we solved some of those questions. So basically, do copy our solution and submit it and get graded and pass. And then those people that went ahead to go through the stress of finding solution, of reading, researching, and all those stuff to solve that problem, get it done, right? So Mary Jane brought out a solution though, but it wasn't that very wonderful. But if you guys can think of something, of course I'm open, right? I'm open. Yeah. Sorry.
Can I say something concerning this?
Yeah. Please go ahead.
Okay. That time they were still accepting new intakes, but now they finished accepting. So I believe we should all be on the same line now. And then we should work with the deadline. If nobody submits, if people don't submit before the deadline, you are not getting full marks. So we are ready to accept whatever, whether you are there when you were teaching and then they get the whole solving. We don't mind. We don't mind. They are just getting the pass mark. So we don't even mind. That please, the correction, we should just be doing the correction. I agree with what this person just said. Maybe one day we just pick out one day, solve one out of the 5 tasks.
All right, no problem. Whatever, I'll discuss it with people in higher authority, and then whatever comes up, I'll let us know. All right, Barry, your hand is up.
What she just said, what I wanted to say. Since after the deadline, you won't be able to get more than the cutoff mark. So after the deadline might have passed, we should just do the correction for the tax, because since from the very first promotional tax that you gave, you've been saying that there's no way to do correction, that people are going to copy and come and redo the tax and pass. Until now, I've not still done correction for any of the tax that you gave. So let me see, like after the deadline might have passed, just do the correction. Since after that time, nobody will be able to score out more than 75 again. Sir.
Can hear you, Mr. Basim.
Maybe his battery has died.
I think it's the network.
All right, so okay, so I think I had Barry's problem, and so like I said, I would I will discuss with people in authority, and then I'll let us know the way forward, right?
Thank you very much.
That is just that. All right, so please, we shouldn't at least keep it us longer than this again. So I'll just end the class. All right, so I'll see you guys on Monday, and basically shout out to all of us that have come this far. This class marks the end of Python basics. It means that you guys have really come far. All right, you guys have really come far. All right. So any other problem or suggestion, please just let us know on the group, and we'll talk about it there, right? So okay, so I'll take one more question from Fidelis. Please, one is up. Please ask it so we can.
But it's my own distant area. I've not been graded since, so I said it earlier before we started the class today. So I don't know. I just want to remind you. You go to your DM, see Fidelis.
Okay, Fidelis, all right. So I'll check it out then I'll update.
All right, sir. Thank you.
All right.
Please upload the video.
Yeah, video will be uploaded definitely.
It's not tomorrow, not next tomorrow. Maybe today, please. So we can be able to do our tasks. I'm serious. I didn't follow this class at all, but I understand once I watch the video.
No problem. No problem. Video will be uploaded.
Yeah, bye everyone.